The day after the dramatic raid in a Paris suburb, and France is wondering how close it came to suffering another major attack. Security forces moved in on Thursday night to secure an apartment here in Argenteuil. They found both explosives and weapons. They were still there when France's Interior Minister addressed the nation.
This operation follows an important arrest this morning made by the General Directorate for Internal Security, which has enabled us to defeat a prospective terrorist attack in France that was at an advanced stage.
And this is the suspect, 34-year-old Reda Cricket. He was actually jailed in absentia last year by a Belgian court for being part of a network sending fighters to Syria, as was the suspected organizer of the Paris attacks last November, Abdelhamid Abaoud. Inevitably, many people in Europe are wondering how such suspects can escape capture and carry on planning violent acts. As France announced it was deploying hundreds of extra armed police after the Brussels bombings, President Hollande called for better information sharing between EU states.
If we have this shared intelligence strategy, knowing where they might be, knowing how they can use their, quote, skills learned in Syria, learned in Yemen, better we have the capability of preventing these attacks.
In Belgium, this week's events led to the Justice and Interior Ministers offering to resign, although Prime Minister Charles Michel turned down the gesture. While here in France, politicians from the ruling party accept there have been security failures.
We did not do enough, and we did not act quickly enough. There are a number of measures that have been planned for some time and that need the European Parliament's approval, especially the NPR system to record air passengers' details so we can keep track of people's movements.
Hours before Thursday's raid, there was an outpouring of anger in Paris, this demonstration requiring a heavy police presence.
Well, the issue that's bringing people onto the streets of Paris to protest might be changes to the country's labour laws, but many people in France are very worried about security, and more are asking what politicians can do to make them safer.
And that's a question echoing around Europe right now. Nadim, Al Jazeera, Paris.